Good evening, everybody, or good morning if you're watching this on the VOZ. This is Team Fortress TV, but specifically this is TurboTabs on the microphone. I'm here tonight with Beta, also co-casting, and Suyooo, working that camera, working that production. And tonight we're going to be covering more of our ETF2L coverage. This is Season 24, powered by TT eSports. This is Week 3, Beta. Are you hyped?
I am pretty hyped. These two teams are in pretty similar positions. They're both repping the Swedish flag. We have some organization stuff going on with crowns and publicly. So I feel like both of these teams are sort of at a crossroad where they've had some trouble in the beginning of the season, but whoever comes out on top here will definitely be very much in the race for the playoff spot.
Yes, those two teams being comfortably Spanked and Crowns eSports. If you've not heard of Crowns eSports, they were previously called Public Clear, as Beta's just previously mentioned. They just had a slight little, organization change. It's pretty much the same org from my understanding, Beta. They just decided to separate two businesses from the Public Clear name. So Crowns eSports is like the pro teams, while the Public Clear is offering all the services like servers and whatnot.
Yeah, as far as we're concerned and as far as everyone else is concerned, it's just a name change. We don't have to worry about it, really. Like, they didn't lose anything. It's the same organization, just a name change and some organizational stuff inside the organization that we don't have to worry about. So I don't think it's worth actually putting too much emphasis on it. But you always want to make a good first impression whenever you make any kind of change. So
exactly. I just want to get the record straight. Who knows? You might be coming straight from week 1 into week 3 and just have no idea what these names are and what's going on. So now that we've penciled all that out, we can actually segue that into going over the Crowns eSports lineup with our brand new spanking technology of, well, maybe not brand spanking new, but slightly updated spanking new of Gentleman John's stats. If I just head over to the turbo computer here, I'll load up the next report. There should be Crown eSports that you should be feasting your eyes on.
Oh yeah,
and voila. See it. Okay, can you give me a roster rundown, Beta?
For sure. On Medic we have Unkaya. On Demoman we have Smear. AMS is on Pocket. Atomic on Scout. I think he's sort of the flank scout. Then Tiger is the normal soldier on Roamer. And then we have Pierce on Scout. And I actually believe that instead of Tiger, we actually have Butt Nose or God Nose in here. He did a ton of work last time. Like, just absolutely crushed everything. There's already a highlight up on the Team Fortress TV channel edited by MK, and it's just nuts. Like, the way he just went huge was just unbelievable. So he's looking to make an impact once again.
Yeah, I did catch some of that action and tuned into the highlights clips as well. And it's kind of strange that out of all the Crowns eSports players, that the one I'm most excited to see is not on the team.
It's funny how that works sometimes. But there's also some other players that are definitely worth talking about. Like Pierce and Atomic, I feel, is a very underrated scout duo. They are very dangerous. Atomic tends to be behind lines, like, it feels like 80% of the time. He plays the flank scout the way a flank scout should be played, I feel like. He goes behind lines while Pierce sort of sticks around with his medics and gets a ton of heals. So far, it's been a pretty up and down season for Pierce, but I know he's a beast, so hopefully he can sort of step up his game a bit.
Yeah, I'd say that's the entire story of Crowns eSports right now. They've had kind of a rocky start this season going into it. They've got some unfavourable results that everyone maybe expected to go towards their way. I know this is just the first few weeks, and there are there's like 6 more weeks in this season left, but these are supposedly the easier teams, Beta. They still got to play against teams like Perilous and Nameless. If you're going to start losing points at this point, it's not going to play well for your playoff spot.
Not at all. Like, they played against Lego and Happy Farmers, which are both teams that are basically on their level. Going into the season, we didn't know whether or not they could beat those teams. It was pretty close. And they lost to Lego, and then they got 2 points against Happy Farmers. So definitely underperforming for them so far in the season. So they only have 2 points so far. They have 2 points while Comfortably Spanked have 4. So they're definitely at the bottom.
I'll bring up the ETF2L table just to give you a clear picture of how it's all standing about right now. As you can tell, we've got 4 of the teams have already played their games, while the remaining 4 still need to play theirs, demonstrated by the PLD section of the table, which just represents each map that the teams have played. So as you can see, comfortably Spanked and Crown sitting at that 6th and 7th position. They're pretty much right next to each other, and they're both looking to take away these 6 points away from each other to get really nestled into that top 4 spot.
Yeah, we can see that PC Master Race at the moment is stuck, or is on 4th place, but they've played 6 matches or 6 maps, and all the bottom of the scoreboard have played 4. So, this is definitely where you can see they can bump up to 4th place is basically what they're going for, and both teams could actually end up above. No way, only one of the teams can end up above PC Master Race, but it's very close so far at the bottom, and 4th place is very much up in the air, and even teams like Lego are by no means secure at all because they still have yet to play against Nameless.
It seems no team is secure right now. You see some strange upsets already happening already, with PC Master Race taking the upset map against Nameless just a couple of days ago, and that really shocked everybody. And I think it's really going to break open these tables for any team to just wind up with any spot, really. It looks like we're going to get the same close season as we did last season.
Absolutely. We saw last season, I think it was it DD5 apps? Yeah, that were stuck basically in the backs of 5 position right here. I was like, okay, everyone can actually end up in the playoffs except for DD5 apps. And then DD5 apps just had a phenomenal second half of the season, and then they actually made it in. So by no means is this in any way set in stone at all. These positions will shift around a lot. Maybe Perilous Gaming and Nameless are kind of locked in maybe at the top, but Nameless already lost their map, so maybe not. And Baxify plays against the 2 top teams. So everything's up in the air at the moment, and nothing is safe for sure. But why don't you take me through Comfortably Spanked?
Alright, over on the Comfortably Spanked roster, it will be Skeej on Medic, a D-Ski. I said it right this time, B-Tom. I'm doing well. Got Vanny over on the Pocket Soldier, Denier on the Scout position. I think he's going to be playing the Aggressive Scout for his team. Tom's playing the Roamer, and Hank will be playing the Pocket Scout. So, what a team. This team is just chaos, kind of bunched together so far. Every time I've watched this team, it just seems to be constant scrappy TF2 happening at every moment of the game.
Yeah, it's a very odd mixture of players, because you have these players that really thrive under chaos, like Tom and Denier, and maybe even Adiski. I'm not sure about that, but definitely Tom and Denier seem like they really thrive when things are very chaotic and unstructured. And then you have them paired with Skeej, this medic that have strategies. We saw some pretty cool team strategies out of I think it was Infused at the time they were called, and they would do stuff like build Uber with arrows, and you could really tell that they had strategies on different maps, and that was a big part of their success. And now this season it's kind of been pretty messy at times. So I feel like the more they're able to just adjust to the enemy team and actually make their strategies work, the better off they'll be.
So do you think it's just because this team has just got a couple of new entries into it, with Tom and Vanny recently joining? Does that mean that the chaos will soon just filter itself out and it'll go back to normal? Or will they just embrace the chaos? I mean, some it's kind of done a little bit well for them. Maybe not too well, but they've taken some points away from PC Master Race that show themselves to be a big team this season.
I don't think they'll embrace the chaotic nature of the team play. I think that they'll try to iron it out. I really think Skeej as the main caller will just try to keep everyone in check and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do, quote unquote, all the time. So it should be very interesting to see how Vanny fits in with the team. You can see his DPM is very low. He's on 12th place. Right? Is he even lower than Tom? Yeah, he's way lower than Tom. Well, you said Tom was Roamer, but if you just looked at the stats, you'd actually think Tom was the Pocket.
Yeah, but to give Vanny credit, I think he did miss out on the first week 1 fixture, and they used Nation on that role. I think that was the match they did quite well on, at least stat-wise, so he didn't quite reap the benefits of that week 1 game. So I'm going to give his stats just a little pinch of salt, but I'm glad you brought Vanny up, because there's something interesting about Vanny. The fact that he still plays this the traditional, I suppose, pocket soldier role from yesteryear. Beta. Now that you've got most pockets just playing with these gunboats and almost playing like a second roamer, more so than others. But Vanny's deciding to stick more with getting like 30%, maybe 40% heals, and then playing with that shotgun. Anyway, we are going live, Beta. If you're just joining us, this is ETF2L Season 24, powered by TT Esports. This is Week 3 fixture. Our first map will be CP_process_final. What's happening on mid, Beta?
Well, it looks like we have both soldiers actually going in fast and trying to jostle for position up top. So far, they haven't done too much other than just spam each other out. But here comes the demo, and they'll spam them down as much as they can. And we actually see AMS jumping in very early, gets taken down, and so does Smear. So this is looking very sketchy coming in here, straight away from Crowns. Not really exactly the start they were hoping for sure. Adiski's actually on the Quickie Bomb launcher, but he'll be moving forward with the rest of the team. No pressure at all. There's actually a scout behind. Yeah, that's Atomic. He actually goes in there to try and block it, but Denia takes him down.
Denia even doing some tasteful little bind spam in the chat as well. Just really getting into the head of Atomic in this psychological warfare. As they will pick up that easy second, and they're looking to push into this last point. But keep in mind, Onkaya did stay alive during that entire mid-fight, so he's still got his Uber to defend with. And the comfortably Spanked are just going to poke holes right now, see where they can find an entryway. And they do have, they did have a sentry gun to deal with, but they've quickly cleaned that up, spam that.
It's actually a suicide onto the medic here. And he actually goes down, Onkaya goes down. There was a double soldier bomb, but they didn't see the second soldier. So now the counter Uber will just, or the completely uncontested 100% Uber advantage will come in here. They still need to clean up a lot of people. There's only 3 alive, and now here comes the respawners. There's some time on the point. Is there enough time? There's actually enough time. Wow. So that was a very messy push. They just went straight off the way, even though they lost both of their soldiers to the suicide. They just went with the Uber advantage, but that was very close.
But in the big picture, it was very clean. It was a clean mid-fight and somewhat a clean plan and a clean execution. Maybe a bit scrappy towards the end there, making the re-push, but it worked in the end. So that's already the first round on the board in like the quickest time you can get on process.
Yep, Tom is going to be on the enemy sewers right away, or PC area actually, sorry. So he will actually be behind line, so maybe he's going to come in from behind at some point and make a play. Butters is behind as well, so one soldier is missing for both teams. Tom is actually coming in now. Here he jumps on, he finds a soldier, tries to take him down, but AMS is in the air, and Tom will get picked off by Pierce. So far, it's looking pretty good here for Crowns. Much better than last time, for sure. And Adiski is actually getting picked off here, and yeah, look at this, everyone just goes down at the same time. And Adiski and a single scout, that's Denia, will have to try and get out alive. It is basically the exact opposite position, but it's better for Crowns.
Nice little shot coming out from AMS to finish off that little push there. As what we saw in that mid was Crowns just changed up their strategy completely. They didn't decide to go completely aggressive as they did in the first mid. They just played a little bit more defensive, baited out Tom, and he got picked off. And from there, they just kind of started using their numbers to overwhelm them, as they are pushing into last with this Uber now.
Yep, they just stand on the point, and everyone was just running away from the Uber, and then they just took it off and capped the point straight away. Also worth noticing there was that we had Denia and Atomic doing a 1v1 on mid once again. So Kai will be rolling out on crits, but this time the scouting cap won again. So Denia and Atomic has taken 1v1 each way because they run behind. And Diski's actually on the booties here. I think that's the first time we've seen this season on this rollout. But we'll see how they go. Actually, Soda's up top once again. Butner's taking a ton of damage, and he doesn't quite get the medkit either. So he will sort of be out of contention here for a while. But AMS comes in and helps him out. It looks like everyone's just playing over on the right side here for comfortably Spanked. But they get a ton of kills right away here, just expertly timed aggression. They actually have a sniper as well. Atomic will take down the sniper before being taken down by Skeej.
It looked like Atomic was going on a killing spree there. Sadly, he did not expect the medic to clean him up. A nice little arrow coming out from Skeej in the choke area to finish that one off, and the mid will go to Comfortably Spanked. Again, Comfortably Spanked do another counter, I guess, in a way. Play a little bit. They still play a bit defensive, but this time they just kind of relocated themselves. They didn't favour the enemy health pack so much now, and they weren't so much cornered in, and they had an avenue to escape if they had to.
Interestingly, Denny has decided to stay on Sniper even though his team has an Uber advantage. That's usually a very bad idea. We'll see if that comes back to bite them. They actually got second for free. they did were a lot of people down, so perhaps Crowns could have contested that. They decided not to. But that will mean that the Uber will be used in on last here. There's about 50% advantage, so they can't dither around too long. They have to go at some point. I think they're just looking for the sentry right now. And oh my god, Adiski actually goes down. That's a huge pick. But the Uber will come in anyway. Smear's actually way too far forward. He tries to jump out and will actually get out. Really crazy there. And Denia gets a pick. So maybe that wasn't a bad idea, but he gets picked off right away in either way. And Skeej, I think he did manage to get the counter Uber actually. And Atomic's actually chasing down Skeej, but can't quite get him. But what? Atomic got out alive. He just jumped over the head of Atom. What?
Okay, so it seems to be just mistakes after mistakes for these teams. It seems really strange. Like, first they dropped Adiski over to a sticky trap that they really should have seen coming, so they should have popped through. They go anyway, so they just kind of go with fuck it. Denia ends up dropping on Kai, which I don't think really should happen. They should know that that sniper's hanging about in the area, but then again, who expects an attacking sniper with an Uber advantage coming? So he gets dropped during that, but somehow, some way, they still managed to hold from just kiting them around and give him the old ring around the rosy.
Ring around the rosy, indeed. Denia is still on sniper. We've seen Denia play a lot of sniper in historic history here, and it always seems like Process is just Denia's map. He just always does so much work. But Onkai actually has a small advantage here, and they can dot push on this. I think they're aware that they have it, but they're pushing into a sniper. And usually when you push into a sniper, you have to pop really early. And like they're really peeking here, but you can see they're so afraid. And yeah, they actually hits a big shot onto Smear, who takes down a lot. And Adiski actually takes down AMS as well. Tom does go down, but they use the Uber to get the second point, and they might actually even get contended here, or contested.
Yeah, they might actually push out there. As you see Vanny actually switching out to scout whilst his teammate is rocking the sniper, but they both kept punished for it. They've been completely wiped. I thought they were going to come in and completely mince them there with the Uber, but it just wasn't in the stars for them.
No, Skeej actually dropped everyone and then just Ubered on himself to stay alive, and then he was alone. So everyone died outside of the Uber, so the Uber was completely pointless, and that's really unfortunate. You don't want to drop there, so maybe a bit too much milking, maybe his team got a bit too far away from him. I didn't see exactly what happened, but I saw Skeej pop alone. At least he just continues to be on the booties here.
Yeah, and Smear is not being too phased by it. It's just playing back for now, and it's going a bit quiet. No team really wants to dedicate immediately after that first mid-fight where aggressors, and now they go in, but look at the aggression immediately being dealt with. But this has just bought so much room for the scouts to work with. Crowns are completely crawling over comfortably Spanked now, and it's just Hank left, and he's already been found. He's going to get cleaned up with an extended spawn time to boot as well. That is a full team wipe, and they've only dropped butt nose during that mid.
It seems like half of this map is just being played on mid, and then you have this massive advantage. So we have once again a 100% Uber advantage. Skeej just spawned, so he will be able to dole out some nice overheals here. But this will be a very difficult push for them to stop. Hank is on heavy, he's just standing in spawn. Oh no! Okay, goes down to Denia! That's such a huge turnaround. Wow.
Right,
once again. Wow, Denia.
I think we should start playing a drinking game. Every time Onkaya just ends up dropping an Uber, we need to just take a swift drink, because at this rate, we're going to be completely bladdered by the end of the match. He just seems to have dropped these, 3-4 times now? This shouldn't be happening in any stretch of a match, let alone a map.
There's no way it's that many. I remember 2 off of the top of my head. But, man. But we'll see. I'll go get a beer and I'll probably regret my decision. As now they managed to recap second here, and they can go into mid with an Uber advantage. It's not the biggest Uber advantage ever, and pushing into mid is kind of difficult. Process tends to be a pretty slow map for this reason. These chokes are very unforgiving, but they will go in here. So you just have to deal with the spam, and look at that, they just do a preemptive Uber, just not even want to deal with the butt-nose sniper at all. So, but you can see kind of where Skeej's actually, Unkai is pretty far forward, so if he's very unlucky, or has poor movement and doesn't realize what's coming, he could die, so we have this pause.
Yeah, it does make me wonder if they could have used that Uber in maybe a better spot. I'm not sure. I guess the good thing about choke is you can just kind of get all your players flooded in there. They don't have to take too much hassle from the spam. It's kind of a lot more open-ended than any of the other doors. But if you're going to Uber in anyway, why not the sewer door? It can be just a tiny bit closer. You might be able to get on top of Onkaya with that Uber, but time will tell, I guess. We'll see what Vanny can still do with this Uber.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair point. Like, if you're going to just preemptively Uber, then might as well go here. You know, if you can see Botnos is watching the joke here. He's on the Machina, as most snipers do these days. And you can see he's looking at this soldier here. Who is that? That's Tom. So Tom might go down here and get dropped from the Uber. That would be very unfortunate. But yeah, I really think this is all about whether or not Unkaya realizes in time what's actually going on, or so he will be able to escape.
So, Beta, seeing as I'm not sure if you consider, would you consider Medic your main class, or is it Soldier now? Either way, you've played Medic in the past at a Prem level. I just want to get your opinion. When it comes to snipers and you've got this Uber advantage, are you one of those medics that like, oh, let's just risk it. If I can like just get past that sniper for the first couple of shots or so, I can get a so much better Uber? Or is, in your book, is it so much better just to pop the Uber immediately, just don't take any risks against a sniper?
It depends a lot on the map. Like on Sunshine, you definitely risk it, but going through this choke, no way, you wouldn't risk it. Because there's spam and there's the sniper sideline, then you can't get out of the sniper sideline for a very long time, so there's like 5 seconds where you will actually be within the sniper sidelines. And yeah, look at this, Unkaya actually realized straight away what was going on, so he is out, so there's basically no way that he's gonna die here.
This is going to be an incredibly tough fight for comfortably Spanked. They need to get that point capped as soon as possible.
I spoke too early, I guess. Van jumps all the way in there and actually gets him. So I spoke too early. That was a great jump in there, but there's actually a back cap going on, and they're going to have to jump back for that. And they will go back and block it, but you know, a lot of time have been bought. Pierce actually hitting some really big lead shots, and it gets the medic as well. Skeej goes down, and Disky does avenge the death of his medic, but I don't think it will be enough in time. AMS is the only survivor.
AMS is still behind. He's going to go and get this back cap, possibly. And especially with just Tom and Adiski on the forward cap, I guess you could call it, he's probably going to get it. Oh no, actually, just the cavalry comes in the nick of time, and he gets just plucked from that second point, and Adiski will carry out that mid capture, and that will be no forward respawn for AMS.
He got triple teamed there. It was perfect timing, basically. Everyone came in at the same time from 2 different directions, and he just had no chance. Especially because he had to stand on the point. He couldn't like jump into the air. So I could block here. I'm trying to see. Ski's on 50%. My HUD is currently broken, as it will until everything gets fixed. Onkai is on 50 to 60ish. So no really big advantage to make anything of, but you can still send in a Suicider. This would kind of be an unusual time to send in a Suicider, and especially now that they're calling for a pause. I guess we'll find out who dropped.
Yeah, especially with neither team pulling up an off-class so far as well, so we could be potentially for the long haul here. It depends how patient both of these teams are.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they won't be that patient. You know, I really feel like they'll probably send in like Tom, and then they'll send a scout back to go sniper, you know, specifically then. Yeah, I think that sounds like something they would do. Right now, Vanny is playing pretty far forward, seeing if he can make any kind of space for anyone to maybe go in. We saw Vanny with a nice buff, but now they're actually buffing up Tom, so we might see Suicide coming in pretty soon.
I wonder if he's going to go for the stylish jump. Yes, he is. Oh, he must have whiffed it, because I was already like launching my camera ready for him to nail the jump, and now he's got it. He's right in on top of Unkaya, but can't quite land the rockets on top of him, so he will be taken out, but that's okay. They've got the middle point advantage, so they will get that slightly forward resupply, so he'll be joining the fight in practically no time at all.
Yep, you know, that's very standard. So, and there's actually no counter-sack at all coming in, and when teams realize that the teams will not react to you sending in a Suicide like this, you can just send them in over and over and over again until time runs out, you know, because there's no real consequence.
Apart from the Roma stats, those poor Roma stats.
RIP KAD, I suppose. You know, you don't sign up for Roma in Prem if you don't feel like getting eaten alive by scouts and doing a bunch of suicides.
Well, it looks like Tom is going for another go at it. He's going for the wall pogo this time, but again, doesn't quite land the rockets on top of Ankaya. It's really asking a lot from the Roma to kind of go for this wondrous sort of pick, and it seems like Ankaya is like no stranger to holding on to his Uber, like in the really, I guess, scary situations.
Yeah, that wasn't even a scary situation. He took zero damage. Atomic jumped in the face of Tom and just absorbed all the big rockets. So, Atomic went down to like 30 HP, but yeah, who cares? He just went for a medkit straight away. So here we are again. They're not punishing them at all. Crowns, they're just content to sit here and take the suicide over and over and over again. And it looks like Tom is content to just go in over and over again. But actually, Botnos might be overwhelmed here in PC, but so far, nope. He just won. Skeej drops! What?
You know what? I'm still counting. It's a drink.
Hold on. Let me just open this thing. Oh. Decisions, man.
In the meantime, Crowns are checking their corners. They're trying to move into this midpoint now. They've already got this mid cap already sorted, and they've got the Uber charge ready to make this second push as well. If they want to do this, they're going from the choke point. It seems it didn't go so smoothly last time, but they're slow pushing it, seeing if they can greedily hold this Uber for the last push as well. But Tom actually picks off Buttnose in the PC area, but he gets cleaned up by the scouts for his sins. They will get that second point, but they've delayed a little bit of time over on Comfortably Spanked.
Yeah, it's on 50%. So if they're too slow, you basically force your team, the enemy team, to go in time. But here we go. AMS gets Ubered in straight away, and they actually managed to take down Daniel. He got caught in the corner. But here comes the Sorter jumping in onto the demo. So far, they still haven't dealt with this heavy over here. Like, okay, they're finally doing damage. They actually takes it down. Kaya takes matters into his own hands and actually takes him down with a crossbow. But if they're not fast, Skeej will get this Uber. He's on 90%, and now they're putting Town on the point. They need to have done this earlier, but it still works out in the end. So they cut that pretty close, but eventually it does work out.
I was a little bit worried there. You could see some players wanted to take the fight to Crowns, and some just wanted to sit back and just wait for the Uber, wait for the respawners. But not everybody was on the same page there. At least in my eyes, as we are entering our 5th mid fight of the game. This is quite action-packed so far to say. This is the 15-minute mark, and we see Buttnose and Tom just trying to trade rockets onto each other. And
we see actually Buttnose Vanny tried to get the control of the medkit here, but here AMS is up top, putting on a ton of pressure. We can just see the soldiers rotating over and over again, just jumping up, trying to get control of this high ground, and everyone from Crowns are just playing on their left side while Comfortably Spanked are on their right side, and it looks like Crowns will actually get the better of this, and Skeej gets caught out and taken down by the Crown scouts. And now actually Pierce is smelling blood, and he takes down a D-Ski as well. So a very back and forth mid there, with really both teams jostling for control of the high ground of the point, but eventually Crowns just managed to beat them out of it, and Skeej didn't get out in time. He was fully committed.
Yeah, they did commit to that right-hand corner, and the bad part about that is you can sticky off that shutter door so easily, and what is your avenue of escape for that point? I would like to see maybe a bit more commitment. If they really are going to bite the bullet, they just need to go all the way in my opinion.
Well, wait, I'm being told that was another drop? Oh, God.
Well, I guess
sloshed at the end
on the screen, I guess it was kind of like bugged to look like a drop, I suppose, as they are pushing in with the Uber. Praise for your liver beater, as Onkaya hasn't dropped this one. He will continue and he will use this Uber, but they haven't really managed to accomplish anything with it. They have got some slight position, but Vanny just wants to die, it seems. They're trying to spam out the sentry. Actually, the medic takes that. I don't think anybody's really covering that point. Sure, there's some stickies on it, but they could probably just push those stickies off with a rocket and cap it off really easily. But
yeah, Tomic's about to jump into the face of this demo, and here we go. And as soon as the demo will have to spend stickies defending himself, the point will go, and here we go. He actually retreats into spawn, and he saves his stats, but that's the only thing he saves there. So these last pushes have been generally pretty good as long as you don't drop anything. And look at Atomic's domination. He has 5 of them. Beastly game from him so far.
Will he get the fabled 6 nominations this match? I wonder who's the last person he's going to get it on. Probably Skeej, who is trying to stay alive as much as possible. But we are entering the 6th middle, and 13 minutes left on the clock, as we see Tom's favouring this right-hand side so far. He's probably going to bomb in around this corner and lay out some big damn. But Buttnose was the first one to make the jump mark, but he gets completely destroyed. And we do see Atomic trying to get behind, but it's the double revenge. That's going to take all the wind out of Atomic's sails, as they will claim that midpoint comfortably Spanked.
Yeah, running sniper to mid once again. And I don't know, I really questioned Butno's decision on that, but he just stood on the high ground spamming up in a soldier. You know, that's not a very good way. And then when you have like 3 rockets, he jumped into a scout and died. But yeah, there's actually a fight here in PC. It appears eventually goes down to Vanny and Hank. Wait, is Vanny on scout? Yeah, they're actually running double scout and a sniper. I didn't notice it, but it's actually a crit streak. And they get Hank right away, but no one else so far. Yuba actually gets popped in time. And I actually see Denia cleaning up the rest, but this fight is not over as Denia gets completely mauled and Butnos jumps in as well. He might actually go down to a medic here as Skeej is just spamming these arrows. Skeej's gonna need some saving here, but there is a soldier coming in trying to save him. Tom gets one.
Oh, Skeej is so low. Oh, I thought he was going to manage to get out there, but they do get followed up, and there's no running away from the scout. It looks surprisingly close there. I thought it was almost in the bag for Crowns, but it just kind of struggled just a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be.
Look where Hank is hiding in this corner. He's just waiting for the medic. He's got actually eyes on him, and he's standing completely still. He's out to be and gets him with 3 shots. Unkaya goes down once again. That wasn't a drop. I'm not thinking. So, but a great play there by Hank, just hiding in the corner and timing it to perfection, taking down the medic. What a play!
I guess you could say it's a spiritual drop, maybe. You know, like he wouldn't have seen that coming. I'm sure he would have dropped if he had it, but you know, technicalities, I suppose, as they are. You know, just pushing them back out of this midpoint, as I believe the HUD is now working again. Thank goodness, as Atomic will go down during all the, I guess, the mix-up. They will claim back the midpoint. Skeej is sitting on a nice 40%, 30% over advantage. He's just going to, I'd imagine he's going to build this up as soon as possible so he can just get ready to push in with his team from this choke area, it looks like.
Yeah, he's actually not focusing too much on building and just buffing people, and they're trying to walk through here, you know, just getting as much ground as possible, you know, and just seeing if they can get as much in their opponent's faces before the Uber actually comes to completion and finishes building. And look at Skeej, actually goes down to 8 HP before popping. I think he ran into like the edge of a sticky trap there, but so he gets forced, and now Crowns have the big advantage. My phone is dying. Alright. That's scary. Anyway, they do have to Uber into Denia, you know.
Oh, it happened again!
They don't do it! God, I'm gonna get drunk.
Okay, I knew it. I knew the second I saw the dot, and I was like, it's happening, and it will go down, and the floodgates have opened. They've unleashed the scout, and they're trying to send some people behind. Butnose is trying to kind of fight off against Tom, but it's just all pointless, as they've already capped out the second point. They're pushing from this left-hand side, but they haven't noticed Atomic, though. Atomic, oh, actually, they have noticed Atomic. They come, oh, Denia! Stop it, Jesus, as he cleans up a quick double kill on the sniper. That is very stylish coming out from the Swede.
Yeah, he's very much a wild card, and you know, you can't take too many risks there. I think as a medic I would have gone to top or bottom either way. Like I guess he just decided to take the chance there, and I paid for it in beer. As Adiski actually is super slow. He was pretty weak there, messed up his rollout a little bit, but hits a nice sticky onto Smear, so that's equalized now. We'll see how they decide to do this. I actually see comfortably Spanked going over left side, but there's a soldier onto the medic. Skeej is very weak, and he actually gets taken down by a pipe from Smear. And just going through that small choke on their left side of the point just doesn't pay any dividends at all, and they get taken down. Complete wipe. Medic's still alive. Unkaya is completely healthy. They're just going to be able to move forward, leave one scout to cap, and then push into last as soon as they feel like it.
Butnose did some very healthy damage on that mid there, and getting a nice little I guess loop-de-loop around them, just kind of jumping about and drawing as many eyes from them as possible. It really confused them over on that mid, and the scouts just kind of pulled them apart from there, as they have lost another mid fight. But they do have this last defense to fall back on. They've already got their engineer building that sentry gun up. But they do have the Uber already pushed in. It's not quite level 3 like they want it going, but it's just going to have to do for now, as AMS is kind of being pushed into the sky by them, and they are holding the line very well.
Yeah, very
comfortably Spanked.
Coming in from Crowns. Like they bombed in, like one demo got in up top, but one demo is kind of weak at picking off individual classes, so he just kind of died, and they never picked off the sentry.
Atomic's hiding, nobody's noticed, and nobody's on the last point. He's going to get this. completely scot-free. Oh, Tom has just not got enough ammo in the reserve to deal with him as he was fighting with somebody else on last, and sneaky Atomic, not just getting the crucial kill streaks, but also the cap streaks as well.
Yeah, he's actually down to only 1 domination here, but I'm sure he's completely fine with just getting the cap point on that and winning the round for his team. Just hiding behind the crates there and completely blindsiding comfortably Spanked. So that makes it 5-2, so comfortably Spanked, they have to get a move on here if they want to win this match. It's very much still possible, but you know, they are pressured for time at this point. Both soldiers jump in right now to comfortably Spanked. They're very well timed, and they actually managed to push everyone back, and now when everyone else comes in and moves forward, they just managed to mow down everyone. They did lose skeej in the process though, but Vanny is in here. He's onto the medic. He tries to get him, but hasn't gotten him so far. No, can't quite get him. Unkaya escapes with 20 HP. So Unkaya is still alive. Unkaya needs to go back here before he gets picked off. But great escape by him.
Notice you're a lot more caring of Unkaya's life now that your beers are on the line. But yeah, he will survive that. He was going for the cheeky little bone saw onto him, but can't quite land it. I guess the suicide will have to do. But he manages to hold on to his Uber, which skeej did not during that fight. So they're going to make this re-push in here. They've already lost Piers to a sticky trap, so that's not good. But if they just don't lose any more players, I think they can still comfortably take this. But they're expecting the Tom Bomb. Skeej backs up, not Skeej, Unkaya backs off, predicting it. And he's going to be able to contribute nothing to that defense there, as he doesn't manage to force or even get a equalizing kill.
Pretty clean push there, all things considered. Like, they lost the scout, but they, predicted the jump in perfectly, and they just absorbed it. Skeet does get out alive, so he has full Uber. So does Crowns. I thought Pierce was going to go sniper for a while there, but he actually just switched spawn. We'll see what the take is. Actually, Skeet is going very far forward, very aggressively. That's kind of weird.
I like this play. I mean, they've got time, they're feeling the squeeze of the clock, they have to go, but Vanny's just a bit too eager. If he just waited for his medic there and kind of jumping the gun there, leaving his entire team behind, and he will just kind of suicide himself. And again, this is just more time, just being bleeded away, and they really need all the time they can get for comfortably Spanked.
Yeah, it might have been just a suicide, just get a bit of ground and then jump in your soldier while you have space. But, I suppose this is kind of fine. But at some point, they're going to have to just push in here. There's 5 minutes. 5 minutes to get 3 rounds. That's doable. But it's you have to get 3 quick rounds. And they're just going to walk through choke here now, it looks like. Or maybe Vanny will just jump in once again. No. Everyone now follows them in. And they actually have gotten in pretty much for free. Like, they're taking very little spam. And now Tom jumps in as well. Gets denied a little bit. But Uber's actually come out from Unkaya first. But Adiski does go down. And actually 2 people have been dropped from this Uber. So pretty poor push so far. And I think at this point, all is basically lost and they have to get out. But Skeej fully commits and he goes down. And this will just be an easy second cap. There's still 1 soldier remaining, but yeah, he gets 1 kill. He gets smear, so that's pretty nice, I suppose. But, it won't change anything about second here. It's all about the last hold.
Yeah, they kited the Uber very well there. They just stuck to their half of the map, and knowing that even if they lost a few players, they won't be able to cap that point in time, and the respawners probably would have just won that midpoint back, even if the best scenario happened for comfortably Spanked there.
Indeed, we see Hank on NG. He has hidden a sentry somewhere.
Oh
no, wait.
Come back?
They actually just push out. So they're gonna feel the squeeze here and push out with no Uber into what is soon to be an Uber, but 2 people go down to smear.
AMS is going behind as well. He might be able to get on top of the point. Adiski's trying to deal with him. He's getting some nice pipes! Fucking hell, okay. That was a very crisp pipe coming out for Adiski there, but it's all for naught, as they just got to come in with the Uber anyway, just dash the dreams on top of the slight little glimmer of hope there. And now, it's in about glimmer of, no, okay.
That was so close. That shouldn't have been close at all, but a very valiant effort there to hold last. But I think that's basically it. Like, you can see they really pushed there in a disadvantageous position, and I think at this point they might just give up a round just so they can go to the next map. We've seen teams do this before. Smear with a very fast rollout here onto this mid, doing the cool skip jump in the air. As the Soda jumps in, runs it. Tom just jumps in, doing a fast roll and takes Smear down with 2 nice rockets there. So just ending it with some flair, that's for sure. Now the rest of the team will move forward. AMS actually does a lot of damage there, gets down Denia, and here Botnos comes in from the flank. He sees this soldier, takes him down along with AMS, and now it's just skeej in the corner. Can he kill everyone with arrows? He got Botnos. Come on, just 2 more to go, but no, he's not quite that heroic. But
well, I think the fat lady is most certainly sung as it is completely over. This is just what we call trash time, in the words of Kato. And in these 2 minutes, these teams are probably reflecting on what went wrong, what they should have done, what they shouldn't have done, and or maybe not even talking about it at all, just thinking about what they're doing for the next map, which will be a wildcard beta. It will be King of the Hill product.
Yeah, we've already seen some very big upsets on that map, as no team has even bothered putting time on midpoint here. They're just having a big old DM fight. I guess so. We see Pierce trying to fight a scout. They both back off, and eventually, comfortably, Spanked will actually take this midfight. But actually, Botnos is fighting a scout here. He went sniper. The Botnos does go down to Hank eventually. But maybe we'll see a push. They do have a move. But we actually see a crit streak coming in here on the scout crit streak. So far, not really seeing any success. It was a valiant effort here. Pierce eventually takes down Adiski. He had a mark and he eventually got him, but not the best use of a crits. But we got to see some new things here.
Yeah, they're just capping off that second point now. They're probably going to completely roll into this last point, as I don't think everybody will hold onto it with all their might, as again it's not quite worth anything right now. It's almost just begging for the mercy rule to kick in at this point, as they still have a minute left. I think when they hit that 7 mark it will kick in there, but AMS still going to the no fun class allowed, and he will defend off that last point. But they're actually doing a good job of kiting them about, and it's just AMS there. They've all popped a bubble though, and that's going to make him practically impenetrable to all this damage, and it's completely changed.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. I don't know what the final result was, if they got the cab. It doesn't really matter. It was definitely Crown's eSport, not being Clown's eSports. They got that, so they dodged the memes, and they take the first map. Actually, 6-3 is the final score. So comfortably Spank got a final round there. Maybe that's gonna sort of put some fire on their feet, and they'll be extra motivated coming into this second map. But maybe, most likely, it didn't matter too much.
Well, let's see if we can tune into some logs though. I'm just copying over the details now. Let's see if we can just load it into view. Hopefully, if everything's working, it should be right on your screens there. So, anything catch your eye, Vita?
Yeah, Deeski had a really good game. Yeah, he top damaged. We see Pierce actually top damaging for his team, going 32-10. Even without the crit streak, I still think he would have top damage there. So a very strong game coming up from Pierce. Our spotlights were pretty heavily on Atomic, but both scouts here just having absolute monster game. Atomic with a much lower KD, or no lower damage, but still very impressive KD as well. So the KD from both the Crown Scout really doing some work here.
Yeah, and looking over at the soldier stats, it seems to be almost maybe night and day difference for the teams here. As you see, AMS and Butnose just slightly pulling ahead against, well, maybe not so much in the Roma category. Tom and Butnose slightly rubbing up against each other. Tom having a slightly tougher time with his deaths, but managing to keep just about the same damage here and there for his team.
Yeah, and then, of course, we have 6 drops on the map. 4 drops for Onkaya and 2 drops for Skeej. So, just drop city. Just so many drops over and over again. Like, I'm feeling the effect. That's how many drops there
were. Well, it's just, I wonder how many just came down to that Denia sniper. It seems a lot, maybe even the majority of Onkaya's deaths or drops there.
Yeah, apparently he dropped like 5 seconds before the end as well, so I'm not sure whether to count that more or less, but I'm drinking, whatever.
So just look into the healing stats just a little bit more in detail. We see Onkaya's a lot more up for experimentation compared to Skeej, who was just holding on to that medic gun the entire time, whilst Onkai was opted to maybe not so much the vaccinator, that was only really pulled out towards the end, but pulling out the Kritzkrieg, and it did. I think one time it did kind of mix things up a bit, got things into a chaotic mess, and I think Crowns did manage to bring back that second point that one time due to the crits.
Yeah, indeed. But it's pretty normal to actually go vaccinator on last. Like, I've seen a lot of teams do it, so I wonder if we're going to see any vaccinator here on Viaduct, because, you know, if you're at an Uber disadvantage, but Ubers are still not in play, then this going vaccinator will actually get you like 2 charges to their none. Right, so if you can, that means you can often just get point for free, and then they have to, you know, still chase down the medic. And chasing down a medic with a vaccinator is very difficult. So this is definitely the best map for vaccinator. So we might see it. I'm very interested to see how it's going to work out. Also, it is very much worth noticing that this is very often a map where sniper can just completely dominate. So if Denia just goes off, this could be a very different match from the first map.
I'm just looking at all the other toys that Gentleman John has gifted us, but I can't quite find how to get these map frags and map logs working. But I guess we're just going to have to leave them for now, as I was quite looking forward to looking at all the pretty little pictures, Peter, but not today, it seems.
Pretty pictures indeed, but yeah. I really suspect that like a massive amount of this map was played, like the frags were all on mid, you know, because there was just so many myths that were just won very decisively where the medic didn't get out. The medics were generally pretty poor at getting out and not dropping, so a lot of mid fights were just really instrumental. It was only like medic drop that caused them to fail last pushes. So that would be my bold prediction as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the game was scrappy, though. It was very clean and controlled coming out from, I would say, both teams in comparison to other weeks I observed. As it just goes to show that as we're going further into the season, maybe teams are just adjusting a little bit more to one another and their teams.
Yep.
All right. Well, our second map of the evening will be Product. What can you tell me about Product, Peter?
What I can tell you about Product.
Yeah.
All right. This is of course the King of the Hill map, and it's a very soldier unfriendly map. There's a whole lot of like rocket box, and everyone can see you coming. Like very few broken sightlines. So soldier is very weak. So often what you see is teams go one sniper and double scout, just to sort of limit. Like how poor the soldier is. And just having a sniper can be really oppressive to the other team. It really forces them to be very careful with the routes they choose into mid as they come into a fight. But I still think Cookie Cutter is probably the strongest if you have both soldiers jump in, and especially on mid. Most teams will just run Cookie Cutter. But it's just all about, can you shut down the enemy sniper, and soldiers are really instrumental there. So even though soldier is kind of bad, just the ability to shut down the enemy sniper and maybe be able to give your scouts the advantage can still be enough. So it's a pretty interesting map in that regard.
Well, then taking all that information in, that must mean that Comfortably Spank must be coming into this map very confident, because they have the sniper, Denia, who's quite established now in his role. And you've also seen in that last match, Vanny happily switches off to Scout when that Scout class isn't being used. So he's very confident on his Scout, and it looks like he's just foaming at the mouth to get onto the class and just show him what he can do. And with a map like Product, maybe that will enable him to do so.
Yeah, Vanny, I feel like he's kind of underrated. He has really good DM, I think. And so I'm pretty excited to see him, you know, maybe play something other than Soldier, because I really think just a general good DM will just carry like the rest of his team and shine through.
And keep in mind, he is quite the off-classer. Maybe not off-classer is, but generalist is probably a better way. He's like played all the classes under the sun from years gone by, and you know, just doing that gets you a really good read on the game and does wonders for your game sense, as opposed to just sticking to that one class your entire career.
Yeah, very true, very true. I wonder if we're going to see any Denia Spy. We didn't see it on Process, but usually Denia Spy is a staple of this play. So, you know, maybe they expect him to be sniper, and then just, nope, he's behind you. Stabby, stabby.
It is... I'm not too prone to see on product. It's like it's really make or break. You kind of make your suicides or even your slow pushes a lot more dangerous or more likely to fail if you do run that spy. And I think it's a lot more difficult to pull off in a game like, a map like Product where it's not quite so segmented or it's quite open in a way. It's I think very easy to spot out that spy.
Yeah, it's very much it's much more than on other maps. It's just all surprise, because it takes so long to actually set it up, and you have to walk across the entire point. So that's very much it.
Yeah.
But yeah, looks like we're about to go live here. Yeah, here we go. So map 2. Crowns took the first map pretty comfortably with pretty much 5 minutes left to go, and it was pretty obvious that they were going to win. But let's see if Comfortably Spanked can actually turn it up here and maybe do some gimmicks. We already see the double scout sniper to mid here, so I was correct about that. But we'll see what it does against the cookie cutter. Actually, sort of tried to jump in, but he completely failed to jump. AMS gets out with like 5 HP, but that's a failed jump, and that will probably just cause the rest of the team to just back off because they're unable to put on any pressure. Atomic does go down though, so it might be that the Crowns have overextended a little bit here. Or no, sorry, the other team, Comfortably Spanked has overextended, but yeah, eventually Comfortably Spanked will actually back out, so Comfortably Spanked, I think they overextend a little bit here, but actually Adiski does go in here. He wants to fight this, doesn't want to give it up for free, but he does give it up.
Against a scout as well, that's very, very cocky coming out from the demo man here, but he does manage to pencil himself into a corner as Hank comes to his rescue. He gets healed back up with a crossbow, and Denio just completely slams down the fire and brings it back into Comfortably Spanked's favour, but they did use the Uber to do that, and they are capping off the point now, but it's just a matter of time. Here you go, here's the massive double bomb, soldier bomb coming out from Crowns now with the Uber as well to boot, as they are recapping that point instantaneously, barely any time lost, or are they? They just managed to...
No, you're wrong. They actually managed to get in there and block it in time. So this push, they might eventually get it.
Yeah, it was actually they had it controlled the entire time. They brought it back to their point, and they've lost 3 players off the back of that. It was the bait.
Atomic just barely manages to get skeeved there on exit, so that's very important. You might see a counter sack here coming in. Diski is definitely looking like someone who wants to jump, but I think he might just be waiting for the rest of his team. So yeah, Unkai with a massive Uber advantage. This is like a sack situation if I've ever seen one. And Unkai will be hiding on this cliff area, so Comfortably Spanked will have to just figure that out before they go. But looks like they're looking for the medic, and he's actually really far in here. He's gonna have to retreat pretty soon. These will actually just edge the point. Like there's no way they're gonna give this to them, right? Oh, actually the Uber does come in here. I guess Denia got a nice look onto him. And Skeej is just so far in here, he's actually in a lot of danger. There's a soldier on him. No, AMS does go down, and Vanny actually takes down 2, so, I talked about his DM, and it's very much shining. And somehow, Comfortably Spanked actually just won that fight. Skeej extending really far like that actually paid off because of all the heals he could get in.
Yeah, they were scared of the sniper there, so they just popped the Uber, the button to pretty much go for the team as they just launched forward, see if they can find that sniper, maybe find some other players. They did take out the demo map, but couldn't find the sniper. And when they actually did commit, they went for Skeej, who just managed to get out, and he took the blunt of that damage, and all the other players were just healthy and took out the players that went aggressive.
Yeah, Bloodnose actually jumps in and gets the Uber force. He hit some really nice rockets there, and Unkaya is just completely out, so that will be a 100% advantage coming in for Crowns. They'll be looking to probably go left side here and just get as close as possible as they can. But they do have to run into the sniper, so at some point they're just going to have to pop preemptively or take another chance of me drinking. But no, here we go, as they just pop it in straight away. But everyone's just gone out, so they do get the point, but this is kind of the seesaw, and they might even have time for a suicide here. Kind of wondering what we'll see here. This is a pretty interesting situation, because you can't just dry push this, and then eventually, you'll have an Uber. You just push slowly enough. But you can also just send in a suicide. Looks like Tom actually takes down Atomic, so now they'll almost certainly slow push it.
Yeah, but nobody's noticed. But no, Skeej gets a nice little surf though, and manages to dodge all that damage, and the push continues. They did lose Tom off the back of that though, but so he will get a slightly faster respawn because they don't have that.
No!
Oh, Smear!
Smear comes in with a big play. That was really important. And point hasn't even been capped yet. Like, Denny at this point has to go forward and cap it. He's looking for the medic, but like he had like a split second to actually shoot him, a nice air shot or a headshot there by Denia. Completely demolishes Pierce. Atomic will avenge him, but that was a cool shot. But actually, a Sorter jumps in onto Unkaya. Unkaya is on 40 HP, but he does survive. But the rest of Kung Fu Spank are now going in here. Unkaya is on 100%. He has to go back for the medkit, and Skeej does get jumped. And that's so risky. Skeej is so far forward, and here comes the Uber.
AMS desperately wants the Skeej kill, and he does find it in the end. I don't think that was quite worth it there. They committed a lot of players just to get that tail end of that back cap, the actual cap point capped off there, but they only held on to it for like 5 seconds, and they just endangered Skeej's life. And when AMS just saw that, I was like, huh, 3 medic kill, popped his Uber, and just went ham onto Skeej there.
Skeej has really favored just being really far forward with the rest of his team and putting out heals, so sometimes that has really paid off, but this time it didn't. Look at this, there's actually a forward haul going on for Crowns, but they actually get bullied back, and AMS does go down when Kai actually takes down a Dusky. That was a 2-on-2, the demo jumps in onto the medic. Can he get him? Smear is so weak, but he's fighting a Sorter here, and Sorters are just terrible at killing anything on this map. Look at how much he misses. Actually, Skeej takes matter into his own hands, takes down Smear with an arrow. But yeah, that was very close.
Right. Well, they've got 1 minute to hold this. They can't give this up at all, Vita. Do you believe?
I always believe. There's 1 minute and 15 left. You can definitely hold that. Ubers are completely even, so if they just win this fight somewhat comfortably and just use the sniper to their advantage. Actually, there's no sniper. Just use the spam coming in. AMS pops in straight away, gets the medic to pop right away. Doesn't want to risk the air shot. And here AMS comes in once again. He's now behind lines along with the scout, so that should split up comfortably Spanked a lot. And by now, double scout actually onto Crowns. Now look how weak they are, and Unkaya goes down as well. So it's Skeej and Adiski and Vanny, so if they can just play off of heals here and actually hit their shots, then they'll be far ahead. But no, Atomic comes in and puts a stop to that. Takes down, and then takes down one more. Vanny hits a big air shot onto Smear, onto Pierce, and then gets Smear as well, but it's just not enough. And that was a very close round.
That was literally like 100 HP difference between, I guess, a 4-man wipe and a 4-man, I guess, alive towards the tail end of that fight. Atomic was surviving on 2 HP. He went round, picked up some health kicks, came back, got the huge flank onto Skeej, which just kind of destroyed any hopes of holding on to that round as we are entering our second round of the evening for Product. And Buttnose is doing a big boy bomb, and he does get the big boy Skeej, and they're still rocking the sniper though, and all hands are in Denia right now. He's going to have to go for a huge killing spree with his scout buddies, hopefully cleaning up the damage. They get the smear, they get the trade onto AMS. Atomic's trying to get on top of Denia though, but Atomic doesn't miss. He will take out Denia on the sniper, and he will more than likely claim that midpoint.
Once again, Vanny being scout on this mid, so they play the double scout sniper, and this time it doesn't quite work out. Just the aggression was too much coming out from Crowns. So good job with them. Now Unkai is just hiding up here on Cliff once again. And last time we saw comfortably Spanked try to etch the point, and Skeej is very far forward once again, like he's on Cliff, basically playing as if he has Uber. So let's see if it comes back to bite them in the ass this time around. It's sort of 1-1 as far as that goes, but now he just retreats straight away, and they actually do get the force, and so this time it definitely works out. Skeej was very far in, but then just at the right time he just backed out, and they got the Uber force. So great play there by comfortably Spanked. So now we'll have the big Uber advantage. Let's see how they push this.
Okay, they haven't quite got the Uber just yet. They're just slowly pushing in. They've already lost Denia though. This is maybe a bit scary. They still want to cap this off for 3, and they have brought down a few low players. Now they pop off the Uber. They want to go aggressive with it. They find Unkaya. That's the kill they want. Now they can just kind of blob up and back off now and just protect their own medic. Oh, what was their own medic? Skeej has gone down. So now it's time for Vanny to go aggressive, but he gets completely controlled up by Crowns, and Hank is there to clean up what's remaining. But the 2 scouts for Crowns are probably going to go absolutely huge here. Disky though just came up with the sticky bombs and just destroyed both of the scouts, who were desperately trying to avoid the scout fire, but they weren't paying attention to the demo man whatsoever. Denia just comes in, swoops in on Kaya whilst I was trying to finish off that last little fight. It's constant chaos, it seems, going towards this tail end of the fight, and AMS wants to, actually Buttnose wants to go aggressive. He does pick up the kill onto Tom. Vanny's going to make the trade onto him instead, and now it's a game of chase with AMS and Vanny. They're playing their own little games. People are capping the point during all that kerfuffle, and Vanny will find the kill eventually, but lo and behold, their point is gone, Peter.
It is gone indeed. So now skeej has a small advantage. He's sort of alone up here on this cliff. Very few people with him, so they do have the spawn advantage, but actually it looks like Vanny will not wait. No, that was yeah, that was Vanny, and he actually goes in here and actually hits a nice shot onto Buttnose. I thought Buttnose was gonna get him, but no, Vanny just picks him out of the air, and that will give a huge advantage for comfortably Spanked. You know, not just dual advantage, now the man advantage. Vanny going absolutely huge on this map. He's been so good. He actually has the most points on his entire team, so it looks like I was right to hype him up before the game even started.
Let's see what Crans do. They do have their Uber charge and they're deciding to go aggressive with it. They're just going to force off skeej, and now they're going to quickly back off, reset things, and at this point now they can afford to take trades, but even better than that, they're just getting picks as Buttnose does go down. So, but on the bright side, he will come up just slightly quicker because they are holding on to the point. They just need to keep Onkai alive to just keep the sustain up, and they can eventually win out this fight, and that's what they're slowly doing here. They're slowly pushing them out. They need to get some cap time during the fighting though. There you go. That's much better. And that was a very clean coming out from Crowns there.
Yeah, pretty impressive there that everyone from Comfortably Spanked got out alive too. So we see 128 to 118 in the timer. It's very close, and just already, just the dry push here, no Ubers in play at all. Ubers are completely even, and they just get the point for free. So great vision there by skeej and the rest of his team, just knowing when to push. As AMS is actually very weak, so any kind of re-push here from Crowns will be delayed a little bit, otherwise they'll have to do it with 5 on 6. And here we go. After a small delay, they're now in it. AMS gets popped upon right away, gets the counter coming out right away, as Pierce actually takes down Hank right away, and Smear goes down, so no stickies to contend with. And stickies are just really strong when you're trying to attack into the point because of the way the map is laid out. And that will probably just stop everything altogether. Might see a suicide coming in. AMS doing a lot, but Onkaya is so weak. It's on 13 HP, and a Soldier jumps in.
Oh my god, look at all this damage. They've all just completely collapsed onto the Crowns team there, and actually it looks like it's got completely turned the other way. It seems Buttnose did a massive flank, and now the scouts are reaping the benefit, and Hank just wins the 1v1, so that denies out that one fight for Crowns. And the point and the time, most importantly, will go a little bit longer. It's almost ticking down to 0 seconds for
Hank actually gets a drop on this demo here, but the demo is fully buffed, and Hank is pretty much alone. There's now Soldier to help him. And Hank looks like he wants to really fight this, but he doesn't really need to. You know, like they can just let them cap and then they can recap, and it'll be fine.
Oh, Denny actually wants to contest this for some reason. I think it's a lot easier to just let them cap it out and recap it than to go about defending it and letting the time shrink down. As you can see, they're just sending people through the meat grinder.
Yeah, they're fully committing. Like, skeej is not going to get out alive here at all.
They might actually lose this now, because they could just forward hold with this Uber charge and could potentially keep them out of this fight for a full minute here. And you see AMS is trying to set up for it, but they don't have the players all up and ready to go, so they just don't feel comfortable making that forward hold. They're instead just going to hold back, and hopefully they can just not be slow pushed out of this, as they do have an Uber, but that's plenty of time for skeej to build up his own in the meantime. But they're going to have to go in and see if they can force him off.
Might be a suicide here. They get the Uber force out right away, and as long as skeej gets out alive, he actually gets jumped here by a demo, but no, skeej is on top of things. Hank does go down as well, but skeej gets out alive. Oh, I say that, he's so close.
Oh,
he actually dies to Buttnose!
Oh no, that is detrimental to the round, Peter. I think they might have actually lost that now. There's 30 seconds left on the clock. They're just going to have to just man up and go in for the push. With
Dude, the door wasn't even open for the last rocket. I don't know how. I don't understand. That was crazy.
God knows.
But it absolutely turns everything around. Just the decision making here, just losing them this round. But look at the Denia just hits some really big shots, and that could be enough to give his team the advantage. And yeah, they will actually get the point here. Look at this.
Oh no,
Buttnose comes in from behind with a massive flank.
Oh no, there's too many players. Oh god. If they just played a little bit more passive over on Crowns there. I think they would have held that off, but the fact that they managed to get on top of Smear there, he got picked off, and then Atomic just didn't expect players to be coming from that side. He got kind of manhandled from the side as well, so it was just
unbelievable.
I guess mistakes after mistakes, Peter.
Yeah, so after me saying so many bad things about the decision making, they still just DM it and win it. As the Soda jumps in right away here, that's Tom onto the medic, and the second Soda comes in as well. Onkaya survives this, so I think this will just be bad as Budnos even jumps in and takes down the medic, and everyone just completely melts from comfortably Spanked. They jumped in both their soldiers there, and they didn't get the medic pick that they were trying to get, and then it was just a matter of the rest of the team to just clean up.
Yeah, the difference I'm seeing in these bombs, Peter, is when AMS bombs and gets cancelled out, he kind of manages to get back to his team in time and almost kind of bait them in, pull them in, looking for the kill onto AMS, whilst if Tom goes in, he's like fully committed, and if he doesn't quite get the rockets he needs, he hasn't got quite an escape plan planned out, and it did lead to them losing that mid-fight there as they're going.
And Kai will actually pop here to make sure the point doesn't get capped, but I think Skeej will actually get out alive here. I've said that a lot of times and been wrong, but I think I'm right this time. Yeah, as
Skeej's not risking it at all. He is way out. It doesn't even have a chance to see any blue players, let alone get shot by any of them, as they are trying to slowly push out before they have the Uber charge here. It might be a little bit risky, but maybe they can get this cap come from under their noses here. They get that for free, and they even get a bonus kill on Kaya. What? Where did that come from? Okay. Well,
he wasn't aiming for him at all. I was specking a D-skin, and I still didn't see it. So that was pure luck. As now the Soldiers just jump in here. A D-skin needs to hit some big air pipes, but he will actually just get Ubered. And yeah, so this will allow them to defend this point. Budnu's somewhere on 4 HP. He's actually found the demo, tries to get him down, but nope, can't quite get him.
I don't know why Buttnose didn't go back for the health there. He just decided, I could take on all these. Well, he probably just wanted to get the med kill, but he just went into 5 players with like 5 HP.
Yeah, I don't think he just... I thought he was just thought, I can't kill anyone, let's just go in there. Let's not waste any time, just respawn as fast as possible. And here comes the push. There's quite a lot of time on the point already as Tom jumps in and takes down Pierce, but that will be the only thing he gets. So it's still 1-1, but there's just so much pressure, and the medic is almost down. Finally, Onkaya does go down to Denia, but this is not over yet. This fight is still going, and this gets a nice pipe, but now it's 2-on-3, and look at that, Atomic gets the kill. So it's still, now it's 2-on-2, and it's just a scout fight. I think Hank is actually out of ammo. Yeah, Hank is out of ammo, so there's just Denia now left alone. Tom might come in to help, and Hank does get an assist there before getting taken down, but that was pretty unfortunate there by Denia. I'm pretty sure he feels left alone, which he was.
The respawn is off, full and flowing, 4 crowns there, and they're going to recap this no problem before any of Kung Spank can even respond in time. So it's Crown's time to just hold on to the point for just a little bit longer. Both teams are just kind of kicking it back right now. Nobody's quite healthy for Spank, so they're not really comfortable making the slow push right now. They just want to get everybody healed up before they even think about committing, and Crowns are just playing patiently. They're holding back on their own little cliffside. Onkaya is holding, healing his teammates at an arm's length, ready to get out if there's any sort of aggression, but again, they just want to take this point from under their noses here, comfortably Spanked.
Yeah, I really like them actually pushing in, because they have shorter respawn, so whenever they trade 1-for-1, that gives them an advantage.
If they trade at all, though, they've lost 2 players, and there's not even any damage to kind of show for their efforts there. They end up being forced out from just all the aggression as well. And here comes an AMS Uber trademark, and it's actually Buttnose doing the majority of the cleanup there. He does get cleaned up by Denia, but Banny's also
yeah, they don't need any more picks. Like, the medic is all they needed, and they got him. So no reason to chase any more than they already did. So once again, we see Crowns with a very strong advantage here, at least as far as the game state go. They don't have a big Uber advantage or anything. So once again, I think Comfortably Spank should just push in here. Just try to trade 1-for-1 and get the respawn advantage going. And they are actually putting it all the time on the point, and they are getting it. But look at this! Smear gets 2 nice picks there, just sticky spamming for all his heart's content, and that will allow the rest of the team to just jump in here and take everyone down and recap the point.
Again, I'm It's all well and good capping this point for like, well, it's not all well and good. They just cap it for like 5 seconds, and they just lose so many players off the back of just trying to just stay in the fight and just stay under fire constantly. That when they finally do cap it off, they just get nowhere to run to in time because they've got no health remaining, and they just end up getting completely diced, and the point just gets recapped. Again, I just sound like a broken record. Tom is going. Oh, Tom!
Unkaya goes down to Tom.
Unkaya. Oh, is that another drop?
Yep, that was definitely a drop. Oh,
Drink.
wow. I'm drinking. You talk.
I am the one that's like just constantly feeding you beers, but I've got no drinks whatsoever.
I'm actually out of beer now. Like, the beer's gone. How many drops we've had? Wow. So that was a really nice shot there by Tom. I'm not sure how much of an air shot it was, but it was a good shot for sure. Unkaya didn't expect to hit it. So skeej almost has the Uber here. There's actually a ton of pressure being put on here. And right now, Crowns are trading 1 for 1. And again, they have the respawn advantage. Skeej eventually pops
nice
Uber to... Yeah, and we actually see Vanny gets the medic here. Yep, chases him down. Unkaya got stuck in against a wall or something there. Like, that looked weird. But AMS is about to bomb in here. See if he can get the medic. He does a ton of damage to his scout, but let's hope Butnose can do better. Yep, Butnose can do better. He actually gets skeej. But look at this time. Alright, so it's overtime here. There's 0 for the clock. But it's not over until the point has been completely decapped. So the demo goes straight away.
Will Unkaya do it? He's going in with the bone sword, but oh no, it's quiet. It's Piers' turn now. It just seems like a vicious street fight that everyone's just throwing themselves in. And Piers is doing it!
He dropped 2. That's unbelievable. That's actually crazy.
Vanny is still alive though. Adiski is still alive as well, and now they're taking turns to respawn in time. It's like set on hard difficulty for comfortably Spanked. This point is still capping somehow. Smear is finally getting finished up. Unkaya again comes in for the second time, and they will get this point 2-1. We still got another round left, Beta.
Yeah, that was crazy by Piers. Like, he jumped in like 1 against 4 or 3 and got 2 of them. Unbelievable. Like, that shouldn't have been close, but it was. That is absolutely crazy by Piers. Wasn't quite enough, but a very valiant effort for sure. Butnose looks like he's going to jump in straight away. He's behind the line. 0 rockets loaded though. So we'll see if he can actually make this work. But yeah, it looks like Crowns are just moving across the point pretty much uncontested. And here we go. It's actually still 1 for 1. So they might have overextended here, Crowns, a little bit. Because now Denia comes in, but he gets taken down straight away by a big fat meat shot by Atomic. And he's still on the prowl. But now Soda jumps in here. Can't quite get the air shot. That was Tom missing that. And they actually cap it as well. Atomic caps it out. So that will mean that they have slightly poor respawns. But I still feel like just the fact that Unkaya has the Uber will mean that this point won't get capped. Ooh. But there's a soldier onto it. Please don't drop. He dropped.
I was about to say, I was like, on the bright side though, skeej managed to pop his Uber and didn't receive any damage. I thought it was a bit early coming out from him, but I guess maybe he just had faith that his team was going to drop Unkaya there, so I sort
of... He had his needles out. I have no more beer. That's unreal.
Well, they have been... well, sort of punished for it, that they gave up a little bit of cap time, but they managed to claw it back because they just lost so many players that just bled during that entire fight. Smear gets a bonus kill onto Hank, who's slightly going aggressive there. Again, they capped this point from under their noses, but this is fine though, because they have the numbers advantage, so they're allowed to do this. And they also even have the Uber advantage as well, if they can get that built up.
Yeah, but eSkeej continues to be on booties and quickie bombs. It really seems like that's just his favorite loadout here. But we'll see how Crowns play this. They're just putting pressure on so far. They're bombing a soldier now, while the rest of his team now try to edge out the point. And at some point, skeej will just be under so much pressure he has to pop. And there we go. One nice pipe onto eSkeej will cause skeej to pull the trigger and pop this. But actually, once again, Vanny just jumps in and takes down Unkaya. No, that was actually Tom. My bad. But just these soldiers from Comfortably Spanked have been so good at chasing down Unkaya, and maybe Unkaya should consider being a little further back.
Oh, but no, he's
big
going
air shot by Vanny.
Actually,
no, take down Butnose eventually. Great shot by him.
I thought Butnose was going to do another Tom-like bomb there, where he would have got the medic kill anyway. Skeej brought down a little bit low, but not quite in the danger zone, as they do cap off the point though, just from all the sheer pressure alone. But that's probably going to get swiftly capped back by Comfortably Spanked. And they even... Oh, actually, they end up dropping Hank. I thought AMS would have been punished there, but does manage to get out as on top of the kill onto Hank as well. Just buying their times, both the teams just spamming each other out, and this is all well and good in Krause's book. They're getting the time just tick down ever so slowly. They even get the kill onto the demo man there, just left pissing in the wind it seems. Where is his team? Just trying to back him up. Now here comes his team. They pop off the Ubers, but Unkai uses his Ubers to keep everybody alive. There is a load of drop players though. It just seems Tom on the flank there being a complete pest, and they're going to cap off this point even though they were the first ones to Uber off there. But again,
AMS is trying to chase down Skeej. Oh, Adiski saved him just in the nick of time. Skeej was in a corner there, but Adiski saves him with a nice sticky bomb, or sticky. As now they will actually push in here. Ubers are not in play at all. Adiski just clearing all the stickies, and Hank will actually be the first casualty of this push. But they're still putting time on the point. Another nice rocket there by Tom. Gets taken down, but he did a lot of damage to Buttnose, and they'll actually enable his team to cap out the point here. So just edging them off, but they might actually have to retreat here, so just give up the point right away.
Yeah, it looks like they want to kind of bait them back into capping this point off again. They've almost capped it off. Oh, actually, Adiski is the one that's going to be baited slightly, but Skeej pops off his Uber, but he's lost his demo man during all this, and Smear is just going to get ready, prime his stickies, ready to make sure that Skeej cannot get out. And look at all that hate on top of Skeej. How does he get out? What are you doing? Crowns, come on. Okay, well, I guess that's fine. They keep their medic alive. They're holding on to the point.
Escape I have seen in like years. That was.
He just took like the invisible elevator up to the second floor of the battlements and just gets back to his team. And nobody from Crowns cares about following up the easy Skeej kill. So okay. So they're just going to sit back. They're going to try and capture this point again, but they're going to just receive more Crowns hate. I think maybe it might be able to just use a dot push with this Uber. That Skeej might be able to know that he's taken a lot of hate and can probably use the Uber effectively in that small little window, but it's a bit too late now. Onkai just gets his Uber now, and Vanny's actually deciding to commit himself behind, but they lose Skeej, so they really have to just commit onto Onkai as well. And Vanny finds him, so that is the kill they were looking for. They can just try to pick apart the rest of the players from this point on, and it's just scouts left, and it's scouts against a demo man and a soldier on Product. It's not good news for Crowns.
Yeah, there's 1 minute left on comfortably Spanked's clock, and there's 12 seconds on Crowns. So this is pretty close. You know, I don't think they can definitely not do a suicide, and they probably don't have time to wait for an Uber either. So we'll just see just the dry push coming in here, no Ubers in play at all. And here we go, so just a big old DM fight, basically a mid fight. Buttnose is the first one to go down, but he's close by his team quite a lot. But is that a heavy I hear?
Yeah, that is a heavy. The no fun class has arrived, and he's just trying to solidify this these last few seconds. There is 25 seconds left on the clock. They will have one more Uber, I think, from Kai if they just get on their horses and go. So they just need to go as soon as though, and they have the Uber ready. They need to go move. You have the advantage. What are you waiting for? There you go. Pop the Uber. Smear needs to jump in. You need to find Skeej though. I guess you're trying to find kills, but at best you're just trading. This isn't good for Crowns. And
yeah, they put some time
really...
on the point though, and if they cap this,
Skeej almost dropped.
It's only 10 seconds, so now this is very close. You know, they're Ubers, so they're not capping.
This is done. This comfortably. Spank have this, unless Pierce is going to get the killing spree of his life, and no, they've been completely destroyed. There was no doubt in my mind that comfortably Spanked weren't going to take that last round. His GGs have been called. As soon as I saw that heavy, I just knew.
Yeah, that was a perfect timing from Vanny to switch to heavy. He just completely carried that. And look at if you want a quick chuckle, look at the map time remaining. It's like super high.
Oh wow, yeah. I guess there are a few times where teams have embarrassingly had the server run out, but not today, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can load up some logs, Beta.
Yeah, for sure. I have them open already. And like I'll just say before I even look at them, like Vanny was definitely my player of the map on that one. He played so well. Like even winning the map for his team there at the end with the heavy switch.
It's a rare moment where casters are like talking the praises of one guy in the pre-game, and that one guy happens to come so much through on that following map. Big shout out to Vanny.
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
I'm still trying to load out these logs for the stream, and just takes so long because it's on the turbo computer. All right, okay. Feast your eyes on the logs right now. Let's see. Anything jump out to you in particular, Beta? Maybe not so much Vanny. Let's focus on the other players.
Yeah, sure. You could look at Vanny's airshots, but no, let's just say Smear had a really good game for sure. Like, once again, I always just sort it by damage first because that's just the big important one.
It's the EPeen of the TF2 world.
Yeah, but just once again the scout combo from Crowns just doing so much work. But this time around, I actually see the scout combo sort of keeping up. Hank had a pretty good game this time around, whereas last map he definitely didn't. So I think that might have been sort of what allowed Comfortably Spanked to actually compete on this map and actually win it. So, yeah, big props to Hank and Denia for stepping up their game there.
Yeah, I noticed some little things by Hank as well. Like, he was, very smart, and most scouts would just kind of go aggressive and go crazy into it. But some moments where Hank was really keeping tabs on people behind and just like saying to his team, like, no, guys, stay back. I know there's a guy behind and he's going to come and screw us. And lo and behold, he would manage to slowly find Atomic and just stop that threat from ever happening. And there was just other little plays from Hank as well that happened throughout the game that I just didn't manage to pluck out during the chaos.
Yeah, only one drop coming out this time around from Onkaya. Apparently, one of the times I said it was a drop, it wasn't. Oh well, it's all beer to me.
It must be bad when we got to the point where it's like, oh, it's okay, it's only one drop. It's fine. There's like some medics that have gone like seasons without dropping any Ubers, but yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, Grabber is probably the best medic of the season so far. Like, step it up, guys. Grabber is crushing the game.
Those vaccinators.
Yeah, yes, 0 drops on Vaccinator. That's infinitely harder than what you guys are doing. So step up your game. Otherwise, it'll be the season of Grabber. But yeah, So both teams get 3 points here. So what will that do to the tables here? Let's see. So they'll have 5 and they'll have 7. Okay, so Comfortably Spank actually move up to 4th place to PC Master Race, while PC Master Race will now be on 5 and Crowns will be on number 6, I think, above Happy Farmers. So yeah, not too much movement in the tables there.
I'm just see if we can pull in some players for some interviews in the meantime. But was this the result you were expecting, Beta? Did you expect like a tie this evening, or did you expect Crowns or maybe even Comfortably Spanked to take all the points?
I saw Crowns as being slight favorites, but I think this season and last season Comfortably Spanked have just like gotten ties in almost every single map. Like, it's so crazy how often they get ties. So I was kind of expecting it. Didn't surprise me at all, at least. So
it is looking like another very close season, though, as everyone's just kind of neck and neck, throwing out all these random points. I think there's only been like 1, 2, maybe like clean 6-0 score lines in the entire season.
Yeah, haven't been too many of them. As we are now joined by AMS.
Hello.
Hello, AMS. How was that game for you guys?
It was a ton of fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Even with all the drops coming out?
Drops? I don't know. Did he drop a lot? I didn't even notice.
Oh, really?
I can't recall a single moment. Once on Cliff, I remember that
single
one.
moment.
I remember the one on Cliff. I can't remember the rest, really.
Well, I guess maybe you're just thinking back to Product. What about Process? Could you remember any there?
Oh, you mean when Denia sniped him?
Yeah.
I don't think that's really on him.
Things.
No, it doesn't really matter if he has Uber or not at that point.
Yeah, I guess we just saw maybe I was just emphasizing a little bit too much. And again, we were briefly talking about some medics like to risk going into that sniper line and maybe see if they can just weasel past the sniper. But I guess Denny just didn't let that happen today. But still, it's ended up in a draw. So was this the scoreline you were predicting for tonight, or were you expecting to take the 4 points away from Comfortably Spanked?
I don't think we expected anything. I mean, we obviously hope to get both maps, but we don't really know how we match up with these guys. I think after process, we were pretty comfortable that we were going to do well on Viaduct as well, but there was some other problems that happened then. We're happy, I guess. I mean, we should have. I think we should have won Viaduct. I think it was just some like really, really terrible Uber play by us, like during Ubers and post Ubers that just cost us. I think it would have been pretty one-sided to us if we had our Ubers down, honestly.
Was this just for product, or was this?
Yeah, on product. Yeah, process was super comfortable. I don't think we felt any pressure on that map. We felt like we were playing a lot better.
Yeah, it was pretty much over with like 5 minutes to go. So that definitely looked very comfortable for you guys. How much have you practiced the product? Is the map you practice a lot, or is it just sort of a weird map for you guys?
We played it a couple times, yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if we're good or bad on it, because we've been trading maps with like every team ever on that map. Like, I don't know. It depends on the day so much with us. Like, some days we're good at something and some days we're really bad at something. You know, like I can't really get a reader for a team and where we actually stand with the other teams. It's really weird.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. But sort of speaking of weird maps, next week it will actually be Reckoner. You know, do you plan to do map talks and really geek up for that, or are you just going to take it one step at a time and just go with the flow?
We did map talks once, and it lasted for one map, and then we just started doing our own things again. So I don't think we're gonna do that. I think we played Reckoner like once. I don't recall us being very good at it, but we're gonna have to try and get good.
Yeah, all right. You are, of course, playing against Baxify, which has so far been the punching bag of Prem, but, you know, that was against the two best teams until yesterday.
Yeah, no,
in the league. So, you know, how are you feeling about Baxify? Have you played against them before?
We played them, yeah. I think we've pretty consistently beat them in scrims, but as we've proven before, it doesn't really matter. Like, in officials, anything can happen with us. But I think it's pretty good for them to have Viaduct and Reckoner against us, because they have this Highlander sniper who's really, really good. Probably the best sniper in Prem, like, not even kidding. And I think he's gonna have a lot of fun playing Viaduct against us, especially since we are pretty poor against snipers in general. But I think I'm looking forward to it anyway.
Yeah, all right. What was your plan to deal with the Dania sniper on Viaduct? You know, you talked about the sniper a little bit. What's your plan?
We just wanted to play left side on mid if we went sniper to mid, so he wouldn't really get a proper angle on us. And the rest of the time, like when he was picking on Kaya a lot, it was just pretty bad communication from us, and Kaya had to, like, it wasn't really on Kaya. He kept peeking angles where Dania was watching, just because we didn't really have good calls and people didn't really spot him in time. And Kaya was complaining about the angles and how he holds such weird angles that he's ever been before. I don't know about that, but I think there was just a communication problem, really.
Yeah, I don't know. You seem to have a pretty good grasp. I mean, I think you went 5-3 or something, which is, you know, nothing too terribly devastating when you're playing against a sniper. It looked like he got sick of it and just went scout for the rest of the time. And yeah, we're trying to get Skeej in here as well. There he is. Hello, handsome guy. How are you doing?
Oh shit! What up? I'm doing fine. How are you?
All right. So we were talking about. With AMS, what his expected result was and how he felt on the two maps. What was your guys' expected results going into this?
We didn't really have an expectation other than, like, we thought it was going to be close on both maps and it could go either way. But like, I didn't discuss expectation, but for myself, I thought we would do way better on process. Like, it was such a bummer. I was so happy that we did regain ourselves for the second map.
Yeah, it seemed like you guys started out playing sniper and then just reverted away from that. How come?
Because nothing worked. It's so weird. Like, our last game against Lego, we played process and we practiced these styles of mids. We had all these mids down, but we barely practiced like last defenses and pushes, and really showed in the game. Like, we wrecked them on mids, and then we came to their last and we always failed to push, and when they pushed our last, they just walked all over us. So now for this week, we went into practicing last pushes and last holds, and our holds were way better, our pushes were way better, but now we got wrecked on the mids somehow. So yeah.
Well, one day you'll find the perfect balance,
yeah.
I assume. And yeah, it looks like Crown's actually won every single initial mid fight on Product as well. Of course, not quite as important on that map, but still, it looks like you have some work to do.
Yeah, we were able to work the clock really well on product, so it didn't really matter. But yeah,
what was the key to your success on that map, do you think?
Just don't be too pussy. Just be aggressive. We did try to kind of ignore the scouts a bit because they were wrecking us on process. So we decided to focus other targets a bit more. As you could see, I was going in a lot of times when we didn't have when we had uber disadvantage, which was kind of a gamble, but in the end it worked out. I got caught out a few times, but
yeah, it was a win some lose some situation there for sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes they overextended on you, sometimes you got out, sometimes you got caught.
Yeah.
So, but it was definitely a very evident that you were very aggressive, but obviously that was on purpose.
We switched a lot up, like positioning wise, and Tom wasn't feeling it the way he was doing, so we tried to have him like go in fast or just playing completely defensive. We just switched up a lot of stuff, so yeah, I hope we weren't too predictable.
Yeah, I wouldn't say so. We noticed that Vanny had a really good game. So how has playing with Vanny been working out for you guys so far? Has it been a good fit?
Yeah, really great. Quick is awesome, and he, he's like the player that you want to and can micromanage, but he's not often giving a lot of input himself. And Vanny is basically the opposite. Like he gives a lot of input. He's like a brain player, but his aim is definitely there as well. His decision making is really good. He gives a lot of great calls. Sometimes it results in him wanting to do something different than me or even than the rest of the team. But yeah, the majority of the time the benefits outweigh the cons.
All right, and then of course there's CP Reckon out next week against Perilous Gaming. How are you guys feeling on that one?
To be honest, I only just heard that we're gonna play that map. I didn't even know that it was in the season, in the pool. And I'm not gonna be available a lot of days for the coming week, so I might have to like fuck real life and clear up my schedule just to practice TF2, because we're playing it against strong teams, against Perilous and Nameless, I think. So I don't know how much they practice it, but maybe it gives us an edge if we try to work up the map. Maybe we can steal some points. I mean, obviously those are not the teams that we're expecting to take a lot of points from, if any. But maybe we have a chance on that map. But I don't even know which map it is. I don't know what it looks like.
Well, sounds like you have some work to do there,
Yep.
But definitely true that you can steal some point. But AMS, looking at Nameless dropping a map to PC Master Race last week, does that give you hope that you can maybe even come like in top 2 or compete with the highest levels of Prem this season?
Well, us?
Yeah.
I don't know if we can take maps off of them, but we definitely won't finish anywhere near top 2, that's for sure at this point. But I guess we'll see.
All right. At the very least, they seem more beatable after that whole skerfuffle. I don't know if you have any more questions, TurboTabs. Otherwise, we'll begin wrapping it up.
I just have one more. We're fairly decent, maybe halfway-ish in through the season now. What do you think, AMS? Do you think that this season is closer than last season, or was last season closer than this season?
Last season was pretty close, wasn't it? I think this season's just about as close, but I guess with every team's trading maps off of each other, you really don't know what's gonna happen in each fixture. As well as Nameless dropping a map to PC Master Race, it's really weird. Yeah, let's see.
What about you, Skeej? Does it feel similarly close as last season, or does it even feel closer?
Feels the same. I think score-wise, at least for our team, we're doing relatively better. But if you look at last season, we ended up really low. But if you look at the games, we lost a lot of maps with a 1-point score difference. But then if you lose both maps with that, you lose 6-0. This time we're, the scores don't say that much. It's as close as last season, I would say.
All right, I think I'm all out of questions, Beta. So. I just want to thank AMS and Skeej for joining us in these interview stages. Thanks a lot, guys, for answering our questions. And for your reward, you get a nice little shout out. Just jump in. Anybody?
Shout out to my team this time. I mean, they did great regaining their composure on the second map while I was having trouble with it, but soon got back into it. Love you, team. Bye-bye.
I'll shout out my team as well, except Atomic, and shout out to Potato as well.
Yeah, I'd like to shout out Potato, the best scout in Europe as well. Or in the world, sorry, Potato. That's it.
Alright, I just want a big shout out to Beta for joining me on this cast. A big shout out to Suyooo, because all this would not happen without his help. And of course, the biggest shout out to you guys out there watching. You're the reason we do this. And if that's been everything, this has been our coverage of ETF2L Season 24, powered by TT Esports. This is our week 3 coverage of Comfortably Spanked versus Crown Esports. The maps were CP Process and King of the Hill Product. Tune into the VODs if you've just tuned in now, as they will be uploaded to our YouTube. If you want to find any more TF2 content competitive-wise, you can find that over on teamfortress.tv.